Friends, we recorded this podcast before we knew about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. So if we don't mention it on the podcast, it's simply because we were recording before it happened. We're not ignoring it. It's a good podcast. I hope you enjoy it. And if you want to address that issue, listen to the emergency podcast we released, I believe, yesterday. But anyways, it's a good one. Enjoy it. Take care.
Hi, everybody. You're listening to Americans by Choice, a podcast from Miguel and David. We bring the outsider's point of view to inside politics. We're both foreign-born and lived in the USA for over 25 years, following politics blow by blow all along the way. Join two old friends who like to talk politics and had a good time while doing it.
How are you, my friend?
Miguel, what happened to you? Look at you, clean shaven. I never seen you. Are you going to apply for a job? Are you going to the Heritage Foundation website to apply for a job? What's going on?
Well, I'm more surprised why you're not wearing, I can only assume that you're already packing because you're not wearing your red cap. So you must be packing for Milwaukee for the Republican convention.
My God, we're looking forward for Milwaukee. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, what a week we have ahead of us.
I'm just getting a new batch of red hats.
Right.
I don't want to use the old ones because I wore them out.
So, I mean, if I remember correctly, you wear one in the morning and then you switch it out in the afternoon. You like him.
Yeah, it depends for the event.
And you never bend the cap, right? Yeah.
Depends. That's a sign. That's a sign for my Patriot friends. When your Patriots friends see me with the
urban Republicans, non-urban Republicans.
Yeah, no, we're business. We're business. That means that we're packing. We're packing, and we have extra ammo. By the way, Miguel, next week we are looking forward to have Jamie Miller, insider of Florida politics, which is the epicenter of American politics right now.
Right. So, and not only that, I think Jamie's going to be our correspondent straight from the convention. He's going to be in Milwaukee. So we're going to get the real heartbeat of the convention. We're going to get the lowdown. So it should be quite exciting.
What a great guest. What a great guest to have.
Yeah.
Miguel, so listen, do you promise you're going to behave?
No.
This is a smart man. This is a smart, educated man, and you need to be. No, you're not going to behave.
No,
I was hoping you'll say that.
I'm be like come on, man. A loose monkey on a tuxedo wedding. It's like, what is that guy doing here? But no, it should be fun. I'm really excited to have. I believe this is going to be our first guest on the pod, so that should be really exciting. Jamie's going to really bring a different perspective and flavor to the pod. So we are really excited to have him next week. So yeah, let's see how that goes.
Miguel, what a week to be a Trump supporter. This is the best week in the history of Trump candidacy to be a Trump supporter. Trump has never been the clear all odds favor to win anything.
I mean, I'll put it week. Yeah, not only the clear favorite. I'll put it in a different way, David. I don't think that Donald Trump has ever believed that he could win an election until today. This is the first week I believe that Trump has ever, almost in his mind, is convinced he's going to win. Every other time, I believe he was bluffing, but this time he really believes it. Incredible, huh?
Yeah, no, and he should. He has never been more of a clear. Listen back. I mean, let's make no bones here. We're not Trump supporters, but let's think about what an incredible victory this man is right into, right? Think about it. This guy was so strong, he didn't bother to debate his opponents on the primary.
Nope.
I don't care. He mocked him. He let them go over there. That's the kids' table. I don't know what they're doing. I'm the president. Boom. Then great. He comes out and says, like, listen, I want to have a debate. I'm going to have it now. I don't want to wait until usually the debates happen. I'm going to have it now. And then he takes the incumbent president with one of the strongest economy that we ever had. He knocks him out of the race. Or that's how it's shaping out to be right now. But even if because make no mistake, if Biden is not effectively knocked out of the race, Biden is wounded. He's a wounded animal from here until
he's dead.
Until election day. Well, he could be a wounded animal too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's a wounded animal.
Now the task.
Only in that, like, a wounded animal is most dangerous, you know. But yeah, but go ahead.
No. This is an all animal. It's also wounded. This is not like a Sprite 20-year-old that you just.
No, I just mean like he's at his most desperate to hold on, be desperate, and that's what I'm seeing. But
no,
yeah,
listen, no, and let's be fair. The task that Biden has ahead of him is just impossible. He needs to prove that he's not old, and that's not going to happen
because he is old.
And that's kind of like the bar that has been set for him, right? The bar that has been set for him is like, prove us that you are not old and you're super vital, and prove us that you are better than you were when you were young, because Biden was always known as a gaffe machine.
Yes,
always saying stupid shit.
Yeah,
always, Miguel. His best and brightest. Like that's how he dropped out of the election. What was that? 2007 when he was in the primary against Obama.
Yeah.
He had a famous gaffe in which he came to one of the news. In an interview, he called Obama articulate fellow or something like that, and people went crazy. They thought that was racist. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Back in the days when you used to be able to, a campaign will end because you say something slightly racist, that could be interpreted as a racist.
This week we had him do the press conference, which his administration was calling the big boy press conference, sort of mocking the idea that he was like, oh, he's a big boy, like he's a child, but it honestly was not helping that they were mocking it. I mean, and by the way, I don't think that he, gaffe per se. I mean, he did call Donald Trump his vice president from the get-go, which is like, what?
Did he call Zelensky President Putin too?
Yeah.
Like, that's another thing.
Yeah. So the two major players that he's dealing with, he's getting them confused, which is not great. But then look, the Democrats kept saying, look, he's got a mastery of the issues, and he talked for over an hour. Look, because last week it got a little contentious here. Like, look, I am not yet a Biden hater. I believe that he can talk articulately about the issues. He's a very intelligent man. He's been in the business for a long, long time. I know that he knows what he's talking about. This is just not what the conversation's about. It's just about his ability to maintain a energetic and good presidency, where it's not his knowledge that we're questioning, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Well, here's the thing, Miguel. If you take any of those disastrous performances, the debate, that big boy conference, right? And you read the transcript.
Yeah.
Well, and you look at the transcript. He's coherent. Yeah, he had a gaffe that is obvious.
Sure.
Like, yes, Trump is not the vice president. He is a gaffe. And everything he says is actually coherent, and it makes sense. And it's actually insightful, except that his delivery has come to the point where we had to come to terms with, like, well, there is something about the delivery. You don't have to be great, but you have to be somewhat effective.
Yeah, I mean, look,
right now, and the media and the message has become that. The message, all we hear when Biden talks.
I mean, look, my wife sometimes calls me David, and I'm sure that's just an innocent mistake for no other reason that she, sometimes you're.
Oh my God! No. If I tell you the people that call me Miguel in my life,
really?
Doesn't even know you. Yeah.
Oh, they know me. Don't worry. It's just you don't know that they know me.
I think so. I think they do.
No, but you're right. And so anything that the coverage become myopic in that, like, all we're looking at it is, when is he going to fall? When is he going to gaffe? Is he going to die in front of us? It is a train wreck that we're watching right now. And there is no room for, unfortunately, to go and talk about the record, that it is a very good record. Now, that being said, he went up.
Fantastic record. Miguel, no Republican has ever gotten a record like this in our lifetime.
It's okay.
In our lifetime, as an adult, right? We start counting from what? From first Bush? That's
sure.
Like or Clinton.
Clinton.
So,
yeah,
Clinton. So in our lifetimes, no Republican has had this great of an economy, this great of achievement, this great of a handling of international crisis, right?
Sure.
And it's because I always tell you, Miguel, in my adult lifetime in the United States, which is more than 30 years, I never seen a Democrat win an election I've seen Republicans lose elections. I never seen a Democrat win it. Because you know what I'm saying. The only time that a Democrat has won an election is because the Republicans set up the House on fire, and I mean on fire. The biggest disasters.
Well, there's the Bush, the Bush.
It's with Bush. By the time the economy was in such a free fall that has been in our lifetime again. The lowest point. That has never been a bigger crisis in the economy. And at that point, anybody, a potted plant in the Democratic Party, we have been able to win, right? Because the people were like, okay, shit, this guy set the house on fire. Let's just kick things out for a little while.
Sure.
And let's don't forget that when Biden took over, we were still in the middle of the COVID crisis. And the house is on fire again, and people are like, well, those guys are out there telling us they can do better, and let's give it to them, right? And every single time, again, this is a cycle that has several phases. Obama picks up that clusterfuck, picks it up, builds it up, crashes with Trump. Biden takes it, builds it up. And when Trump takes over, he's gonna reap the benefits of the infrastructure bill.
Of course.
Of the infrastructure bill that Biden passed, and he's supposed to have, far-reaching effects. It's one of the few bills that we ever have that's like a long term. It was clear that many of those policies wouldn't have an effect immediately. Now, here we had Trump ready to jump in, and Miguel, the day after Trump becomes president, all you're going to hear is about how good the economy is, how good the GDP is, and how good unemployment is. The day after,
100%.
The same numbers. Yeah, but it's going to be all him.
Yeah, no, 100%. I like the premise. I mean, I would only argue that Obama did win his second term without, any disaster. He was, I think he beat Romney straight up. But when we take power back from him, and
Bill Clinton also was able to have a really strong, win a
and like you said, then crashed by Bush through not just the economic disaster that happened in 2008, but I would argue the double war of Iraq and Afghanistan, unnecessary war in Iraq.
Massive tax cut. I don't think. I mean, only Trump has been handed a better economy than Bush was handed by Clinton. I mean, Clinton had an economy that was not only booming. It's the first time that we have paid the debt. That we were paying the debt. The surplus was actually, we were getting surplus in the budget. So it's like So listen, I always say, and I told you this comparison, America is like it has one boyfriend.
Yes, go ahead and give this one, because I want to revisit this. But go ahead, give. I love this. Go on and say it. Go on.
Well, I always think America is this woman who is in love with this guy who tells her you're pretty, but comes out and abuses her, treats her really badly, cheats on her, does her thing, and after she just leaves the fucking house all full of bruises and shit, and gets picked up by this other one. And the minute that she's all okay, and
are you okay? Fixes her up, and puts a nice mink coat over her, buys her some jewelry. She's looking pretty and rich.
She's going back to school. She's like going up and up.
She's quit drugs.
She quit all the drugs. She went through all the. She sees the asshole on the street and goes like, oh, that's the one I really want. And goes right back with her. Here's again. So Republicans are the true love of America. This is just a very backhanded way to tell my fellow Republicans that I think America, it really likes you guys better, like a lot better, like the true love.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I want to finish just a little bit on the Republican convention. Obviously, look, if the convention is the wedding, we've just had the greatest bachelor party ever. We are coming happy, energized. We're feeling good about it. This is going to be a great marriage. The convention we're going to go straight into the presidency, right? But we got to pick, I guess, the most irrelevant person in the wedding, the bride. Who's going to be the VP, right? So I'm kidding. I'm obviously kidding. The part is the most important part in the but and all that's going to happen next week is that we're going to find out who the VP of Trump is. We're going to still get high on how good they're doing, but really all they're announcing is who the VP president.
No, I don't think I've never seen a run up to a convention where the convention doesn't get covered. We're maybe 2 or 3 as we record. We're like maybe 2 days out from the convention.
Correct.
And the coverage is still
Biden.
Is Biden available? Is Biden capable? The wagons are like crossing out on the sense that I think the voices are getting really loud for him to step out. The calls are coming from all directions, right? His support has weakened in all directions. I think I read this morning that a group of donors just say that they're going to withhold $90 million.
They heard the podcast. They heard
yes,
podcast.
I say that was you put that out 3 weeks ago. You're actually
Dear George Clooney.
Yeah.
Well, my count was yesterday was 3 senators have come out against Biden, and I believe
publicly.
about
by the way, that's publicly. Everybody says that behind the scenes, all of them.
Everybody, but I'm saying publicly, 3 senators and about I think the count last night when I went to bed was 18 House members. But can I just
come out publicly?
Yeah, it have come out publicly. I want to talk to you about a little theory because we did have Mr. Clooney come out and write the op-ed at the beginning of the week saying, "Mr. President, I love you, but you need to step down." That was an interesting move, and people say, "Oh, why are people in Hollywood talking about politics?" Now, what I think is interesting is that the DNC, as a private club of special interests, if as you can see, the hesitancy of is that how you say it? Hesitancy?
Hesitancy.
There you go, my friend. Thank you.
You say it.
I can't say it.
Hesitancy.
Hesitancy. Anyways, I'll definitely leave that. I'll definitely leave that in. But anyways, the hesitancy. No,
Don't
but
hesitate. I'm saying it.
Yeah, I won't hesitate. I can say that. But no, because people, if any congressman comes out or senator comes out, they're afraid that they were going to withhold funds from them. So interestingly, they got George Clooney, an outsider of politics, to kind of come out and open the floodgate. But this is to a point that you said the other week, which is, by the way, listeners, this is what we keep David in the podcast and not
in
just
America.
No, in the podcast. Otherwise, it would just
podcast.
be jokes. But anyways, David made a great point the other day that California is the piggy bank. Who most represents California's piggy bank than George Clooney? The Clooney man.
Yeah. Oh, he's the head,
and he can't hurt.
He's the head of the faucet of the money, funnel. He's like the
tap.
There's Clooney goes like that, boop, and all the money comes out. Listen, man. Now there is a notable exception of people
Oprah?
who hasn't. No. There is a notable section of people who hasn't abandoned Biden, and he's somebody who he owns so much. Oh, look at that! Dark Brando cup makes it into the podcast. Here, guys, let's celebrate for this
Happy
is for
convention,
my fellow Trump supporters because you guys are doing great.
Have a great week
with you guys.
Really enjoy this
week.
I'm cool because things can change. Yeah. Salud.
Anyway, so a very notable exception of the people who had abandoned Biden is actually James Clyburn, the South Carolina 6th District rep. Kingmaker. That's a better way to put it. Now, the influence of James Clyburn, as some of you guys may know, is he's the key of the South and the black vote in the South. Is, as we have said before, and we can broke this down in previous podcasts, it's a constituency that is fundamental for the Democrats. It's like Republicans without rich men. The key constituency for the Republicans is like the rich.
Yes. Mr. Clyburn, right? Mr. Clyburn is the head of the Congressional Black Caucus, correct?
Correct. And he has been like that, and he has been fundamental, and he is very powerful inside the DNC. He's probably one of the reasons why for that. Actually, I'm sorry, man, I'm about to trigger you. You ready? He's probably one of the reasons why Hillary won. Was given the nomination over Bernie Sanders because
You mean Biden?
Once that no, I'm going back to Hillary.
Oh, he did it twice.
When it was Hillary Bernie, right?
Yeah.
It was the same dynamics. I don't know if you remember. They were, of course you remember. I'm sorry, Miguel. Stay with me, man. They were
Arrested Development. I've never moved forward from that moment.
When Hillary was going against Bernie Sanders, they were head to head, and Bernie was doing really well. Once they got to the South, the tide just swung. And it was a lot of controversy about whether it was the DNC influence, whatever. But at this point, you can substitute DNC for James Clyburn, and you had the right narrative. My point being, James Clyburn was fundamental in coronating the last two nominees for the Democratic Party.
Correct.
Hillary and Biden. Same thing with Biden. Biden was even
same
more...
Same playbook happened in 2020.
Yeah, with Biden was even more dramatic. Not only he went like, okay, we're gonna give you this. There is no secret. These are no secret. It's not conspiracy.
No, I'm not saying it's a secret. It's just more obvious.
No. It's yeah. No, but there was an extra element. It was not only James Clyburn backing up Biden. It was also going. So this is the downstream effect. Like we lock these votes down here. Upstream to it, he went like, okay, that field of, I don't know how many, 10, 12, you better narrow that shit down. People start dropping down. Anybody who is below this threshold drops out. So they're not only locking the constituents of the South and the important vote, but they narrow down the field to consolidate all the votes, the centrist vote into
one candidate.
Biden. So, this is just a little bit of history here to tell you how important James Clyburn has been.
Yeah. Let me ask you something about that.
And for how long he has been important. What were you saying?
Yeah, I just want to ask you about that deal. I mean, that's clearly a deal, an insider deal within the Democratic Party. You know, he's got certain powers, and you know, he doesn't just give that support simply because he likes you. Let me ask you: do you think when Mr. Clyburn gave the endorsement to Biden, that's when the deal with maybe choosing Kamala Harris came about? So that's an excellent question, Miguel. That's an excellent question. So with Kamala Harris, if you're looking at this from the outside, and remember, the point of view that you get from us is outsiders. We had no inside knowledge of anything. It looks from the outside, from the public statements that they make, that James Clyburn gave Biden the keys for the South, but he had an ask. His ask was, we need a black woman as a VP. I'm very public. This is no secret. This is no conspiracy,
smoke-filled room bullshit. This happened on the press, which is the only information sources that you and I have. Right, is what you can see and what you can read. And they say yes, and Biden said yes. I will nominate a black woman as a VP. Yeah. So that was James Clyburn ask. And, you know, it was a good deal. They both delivered. Biden got the black woman in place that James Clyburn wanted, and James Clyburn delivered the South, and Biden is president. Now we are in this crossroads right now, where everybody is asking Biden to drop out, except James Clyburn. And the minute that James turns, this is out. But let me give you one extra.
I know where you're going.
I know where we're going with this.
Yeah, I know exactly where we're going, and we need to go there. Let's go. Let's get there.
This is, in a way, James Clyburn doing. The fact that we have Biden as the president without a viable successor, because I still think that Kamala is the likely successor, but it's not the viable successor. Kamala is the likely nominee, but it's not the likely president. See what I'm saying? Kind of like we tie ourselves to this albatross because we were playing identity politics, Miguel. Because when you say such and such has to be this race and this gender, that is nothing but identity politics. So when Democrats get up huffy and Gavin Newsom said, don't call Kamala a minority hire or something like that, it's like, well, you cannot have it both ways, man. You cannot demand that a person be this race and this gender, and when they are called, they're in that position because they're that race and that gender, say that it's beyond the pale to call them a minority hire.
I would actually further your premise, which I 100% agree with. I think that Clyburn and maybe the Congressional Black Caucus, because I've seen the pundits on TV, and primarily the African American Democratic pundits right now are dead set on backing Biden. So what does that mean? They're going to say, we're going to hold the dam until we can't. But that comes with the bargain. When the dam breaks, you have to give it to Kamala. And I think that's really what's happening.
And that's actually the bargain on the table. James Clyburn, the only time that James Clyburn had wavered on withdrawing support from Biden, he said that clearly, yes, but it's going to Kamala.
And kids, okay? The reason you listen to this podcast is that kind of hot take that you're not going to listen to on CNN. But go ahead, David. Let's wrap that shit up in a bow and give it to our guests.
Well, okay, I wrap it up with a bow. Here it is. It is counterproductive to be playing identity politics at this point in this day and age. And I'm going to give you a very clear example that happens on this administration with the same set of people. When Biden when Biden had the opportunity to fill a seat on the Supreme Court,
yes,
right, the scholar seat, he came out and said publicly, this seat is going to go to a black woman.
Right.
To which I was enraged because that is the wrong way to play politics.
100%. I remember it.
Because what you're saying is,
it doesn't matter.
The first criteria is not who is the best, who is the smartest, who is the most capable, is who had these qualifiers, race and gender, and we want to pick from there. And I think there is a way to do exactly, get to the same ending from a different perspective by saying we want to pick up the best possible candidate that is the best possible person for this job. And once that you pick it up, you go like, oh, look, it happens to be a black woman. Again, because you're playing politics, you're already, by making that call, you're playing politics. At least play the politics right, in which you don't undermine the person that you eventually pick up. And let me tell you what that pissed me off so much. Tanya Jackson happens to be the smartest, brightest person that I've seen in the Supreme Court since I've been following the Supreme Court.
Wow.
This woman is sharp, eloquent. I mean, this woman has one of the best minds in the Supreme Court. Listen to her, read her opinions, man. And somehow I feel like I get mad that she was tarnished by being appointed under it's going to be a black woman. No, she's just the best, and she happens to be a black woman.
No, and I 100% agree with you. And yeah, exactly. I had a dinner with a Republican friend last night, and he said, you live by identity politics, you die by identity politics. And this is what's happening
right now. That's what's happening right now.
This is exactly what's happening. Can I tell you something I was thinking about Kamala, right? Kamala, let's talk about Biden, right? So Biden, let's say we've all had this friend, right? He's got a girlfriend, things aren't going well, right? He's like, I got to break up with my girlfriend or my boyfriend, and you go, okay, that's fine. You're supportive. Okay. Let's call that boyfriend or girlfriend Biden. And then the guy goes, I'm going to break up with her. You know what I'm going to do next? You remember my ex-girlfriend, Kamala? I'm going to go to her. And you're going to go back to your ex-girlfriend? No. This is a fresh start. We can have anybody. You don't have to go back to that. We can wipe the slate clean. Yeah. You can find somebody new. Remember, she used to cheat on you? She's no good. She's not a winner. No, that's how I see this. This is not good, man.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Look, Kamala Harris is not a winner. You and I, look, I know maybe most
I know, Miguel. I know, Miguel. We agree on that part. She's not going to win.
Yeah,
she is. I don't even think she's marginally better than Biden. We disagree on the following. I totally agree that Kamala is going to lose, right? And whatever percentage point she's getting right now over Biden, she's not the bottom of the barrel. She used to be the bottom of the barrel. Now she's right one step above the barrel. Whatever 1 point advantage Kamala has right now on the polls over Biden, she's not the bottom of the barrel. She's just right one above. It gets completely negated by the fact that now Trump gets to campaign with a scalp on his face. The scalp of a sitting incumbent president with a massive economy. He can go around and say, here's what else, right? And hold this thing and that's the way.
Drink the blood out.
Listen, man, in the playbook being a Trump strategist right now is the sweetest job in America. You got no bad path. They keep Biden, easy. They replace Biden with Kamala, easy. They don't replace Kamala, and the Democratic Party tear themselves in pieces. The Democratic Party would, the minute that they have to pick another person, it has to be conflict. Not everybody agree on the thing. It's going to be a tear down. I mean, even if the DNC say, okay, guys, you got to play fair. You cannot attack each other too badly. That's going to be the only thing that the press is going to cover. Factions are going to come up. 3 months get fucking wasted on this sniping each other and not attacking Trump, right? So those are the three possible playbooks, Miguel. They're all really good for Trump. Great. That's why I don't see. That's why I'm like, I hope my friend Jamie Miller next week, hook me up with a Democrat. Well, I'm going to bring my hat. I'm going to bring my MAGA hat next week.
You should.
That's it. Because I do have a MAGA hat. I just want everybody to know.
Let's also note that President Trump scalped our current president live on TV just 3 weeks ago, and that's a memory that we
Miguel,
will not.
I don't think in the history of debate has never been a more brutal knockout. By the way, Miguel.
And by the way, when you say the history of debates, you're including presidential to kindergarten debates. All debates.
All right, possible. But listen, but make no mistake, it's not because Trump was such a great debater. It's not because he has such a great man. Not because he has such a great retort.
No.
It's not because he has such a great message. It's because their opponent literally tripped on their own feet.
Yeah.
In the ground, and it's just squirm for whatever amount of time.
But the Terminator is learning lessons. He's just like, I don't got to do nothing now. I'm just going to sit back and play golf. I'm telling you, mate.
I mean, I do think that Trump, it is one of the luckiest men alive. I mean, he's a man who was borrowing wealth, was able to declare bankruptcy a bunch of times, losing that wealth so many times.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all of a sudden, he's finding himself president, and all the same, and now he's running to one of the biggest landslides I mean, this is going to be a landslide the way it's set up right now. Not by anything of his doing. He didn't do anything to make Biden all of a sudden go completely Alzheimer's ridden. Like he didn't do that.
Well,
there's no policy that he did. I mean, do you think he was spiking the water? Do you think he was?
Well,
spiking
no.
The
I think like to our listeners. I mean, our regulars will know this, but David is a thoughtful. He doesn't believe in magical thinking, but he believes when he doesn't understand Trump, then Trump made a literal deal with the devil. When it comes to this one thing,
you're phrasing this wrong, Miguel. I say if there was a deal with the devil, if there was such thing, it would look exactly like Trump's life. It would look like his life. Okay, writers out there, if you need to write a plot about somebody making a deal with the devil,
just write
Trump's biography and write it up. Add the devil somewhere along the way. Boom. It shows up every now and then and tell them, don't worry about it. I'll fix this for you.
Another thing that really was interesting this week, and I know that you're a huge fan of Nancy Pelosi, David, and I mean that seriously. I mean, David, you respect her as one of the greatest politicians. Pelosi came out twice this week.
She's a great politician the same way that Mitch McConnell is a great politician back home.
For sure. A great tactician in politics. Yeah, very Machiavellian in some ways. But she came out in an interview the other day, and I was watching it, and she said, well, do you think he's going to, she was asked, do you think Biden's going to drop out of the race? And Pelosi said, well, he's going to come to a decision by himself. And then they said, but do you think he should drop out? She then responded, again, as a master politician, I think he will come to a good decision by himself. It's like, when you have a little boy and you're like trying to make he will eat his dinner when he wants to. No, it's okay. He'll eat it. But the boy's not standing up from the table until he eats his fucking soup. I want steak. The boy will eat his dinner when the boy wants to eat his dinner. That's what's happening.
Miguel, let's look here forward to something, man. Like once that the Democrats
are we going to talk about Gavin? Oh, okay. No, not yet.
No. Well, anyway.
Okay.
once that the Democratic Party loses, right? And right now I'm seeing this as like, I don't see how, I mean, I want to be wrong. Please, please, please. I hope to be wrong. But the way I see it right now,
you are.
Right. Okay, great. That's good to have you.
That's the good news.
Because, you know,
that's the good news.
Okay, so if the Democratic Party loses, the splinter is going to be massive. I mean, because nothing unites a party like victory, right? Like the reason, like for example, whoever party loses right now is going to splinter in a million pieces. Whether it's if Trump loses, that's a massive realignment. But of course, the odds of that are nil right now. So let's think about what is probable. What is probable, not what is possible. And what is probable is like the Democrats lose, and they splinter, Miguel. Like this coalition between AOC and Cinema, it's not like, well, Cinema is already out, but you know, people on the right, like even
Blue Dog Democrats, right? And the progressive wing of the party.
That's going to splinter. And this is not the first time that is happening in our lifetime. Miguel, I think when a party loses, when they're out of power, they tend to reorganize. And nothing is more clear than that. We just saw that we're on our eyes. So the party of Bush Jr. loses to Obama. And what happens in those 8 years? We come on the other end, and what do we have on the other end? We have MAGA. And now we have those people who were at the center of the party during the Bush years, like, for example, Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney was dead, the beating heart at the very center of Republican politics, right? She has as much power as anybody, that the most powerful VP, anyway, a dynasty.
She was a dynasty. She was the legacy of the Bush Cheney thing. She was one
of the most powerful last names on the dynasty. We come out through that 8-year will on the Republican Party while Obama is president. Who is in the other side? Trump, who is out, completely out. Liz Cheney. That's just to give you an illustration of how the party changed. In the meantime, let's don't forget that Trump take on the Republican Party was a hostile takeover. You have everybody on the early primaries of 2016. You had every politician, like a Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, all the big dogs saying, no. We hate this guy. Now he is the party. So it was a massive reorganization, right? That happens when the Republicans were the losing party, and we can look forward to such a massive reorganization of the Democrats. And you can see how constituents are shifting and changing.
I would argue that the process has already begun. This realignment that David is talking about, if anybody remembers, began with the Tea Party. And I remember watching the Tea Party on, I think I even saw him on
I think it goes back one. It goes Sarah Palin, Tea Party.
Yeah, I think this realignment in the Democratic Party had already begun with the advent and the rise of Bernie and the progressive side. I mean, we don't have to get too into it, but I just want to say
they're being held together by a victory, Miguel. The only reason that Bernie Sanders is still in the tent is because nothing unites like victory. Right. So it's the only reason why AOC is in the tent is because nothing unites like victory. And the minute there is no victory, that glue that pulls everything together, the splinter.
But I wanted to say that I remember watching the Tea Party on C-SPAN at the time, and it was like, these white guys in front of the White House with cowboy hats, and they had like little tea bags hanging off their hats, and it's like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. And then comes MAGA. I'm like, oh my God. But no, I mean,
there was a very much AstroTurf movement. That was very much that. I mean, the billionaire class has done an excellent job. I'm fixing this problem that the United.
I really like AstroTurf rather than grassroots, huh? They're very nice. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, the AstroTurf is when they come there and they pay people to fucking be.
Yeah. No, I understand it. I've never heard the term. That's cool. Look, I think that I've also been expecting a realignment on the left. I mean, you can't really have a realignment on the right and then not have a realignment on the left. You know what I'm saying? Because the realignment on the Republican side not just realigns their own constituencies, but they're also Trump power grabs constituencies that used to be Democratic. I mean, significantly.
Absolutely.
The uneducated, working class, white vote of America now is attracted to MAGA. So when you begin to take away that thing, what happens on the other side naturally, and we've been discussing the Congressional Black Caucus, another caucus becomes more powerful and more, let's just say more powerful. And
I'm going to give you a data point to your point.
Sure.
Like what you're saying, you're absolutely right. Here it is. So we know that even though Trump, that political savant, and let's fucking acknowledge it, right? He's a political savant. We cannot be, the guy's beating us down so badly. We cannot keep saying, he's dumb.
No.
He's a political savant. We had to give him that. But he's surrounded by and now this time around, he's surrounded by bright and effective people. One of Trump's political advisors, actually running his campaign, Chris LaCivita, he's down in Florida, the epicenter of politics right now, because, that's where the action is at. So he gave this quote: "For every Karen we lose, we're going to win a Jamal and an Enrique." This is a deliberate attempt to moving into that constituency that was a lock-in for Democrats, right?
Right.
The Hispanics and Black, especially Black males, apparently, I think our analysis still stand that Black women are the one true love of Democrats. But they're going after
amazing how they're wedging, Black women over to the Democrat, conceding that, but trying to get Black men into their tent.
No, listen, it is amazing. Here we have Florida again and the epicenter of politics. I think Florida, and I think the boomers.
Yes.
I think the villages, right? Like all these boomers retired to Florida and they decide to fuck with the rest of the country. And here's what's so fascinating for me. The boomers, right? The boomer generation is the first generation who had a better life than their parents and their kids. Every time, most generations in America had like better. The boomers are the ones who like, fuck you, I go mine, right? Like, it's
I got it, and then I pull the ladder behind me too.
They're so, and here they are as the last gift to us.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go, Trump with total immunity.
Well, I mean, look. At least next week we'll have Jamie Miller straight from the convention, who also is a expert in Florida politics, kind of break down the epicenter of the Republican Party. I think wrap it up in this idea. I think next week, obviously, all eyes in Milwaukee, but like you said, nothing is moving outside of the story of will Biden drop. So
that's going to be the story from here on now. The media on this one maybe gets a pass, like what are they going to cover? Trump's handicap at the golf course? I mean, that's Trump is doing. Trump is golfing from here until election day. Wow, man. As I say, what a week to be a Trump supporter.
Well, and actually
they're having a good week.
I just wanted to kind of say this last thought regarding the Biden and obviously the Trump situation. And this is something that I've just been feeling. I just kind of want to speak my feelings here. And, for the last, well, I don't know, what has it been? Has it been 8 years? For the last 8 years, we've been hearing that Donald Trump is an existential threat to this country, to us, basically. And that's been the drumbeat of the Democrats. And I'm happy to consider that point of view. In fact, I agree with it to some extent. But when you tell me day in, day out that he's an existential threat and you have Biden on the ticket and you disregard, like the polls that they must be seeing on the inside of the DNC are so catastrophic, not just for Biden, but across the board, that the terms like bedwetter and shit like that are really just not helpful. But
Miguel, you cannot force Biden out. He has to step down.
But this
cannot. I mean, listen, Miguel, the way that the Democratic Party is pushing Biden to step out is not on them anymore. It's not on the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is asking him as loud as possible, step down. You say it. When Nancy Pelosi tells you that you haven't made the right decision, you keep looking until you make the right decision. Until you make the right decision, man. So it's like, don't put this on the DNC. The DNC, as you say, is doing what it's just that we lock ourselves into a situation that has no good outcomes.
And I understand that. And let me concede on that point, because I'm listening to you, my friend. But like at the same time, many Americans right now, and primarily, Democrats feel betrayed by the fact, or bamboozled by the fact that we were told that everything was all right in the campaign, and now we're hearing that this was plain and obvious for a long, long time. So the betrayal of, number one, the existential threat on Trump, and everything was okay, and it is not, and then yet we're walking into this disaster. I mean, this, like you said, just to kind of land on the point that you were making, this realignment will be a bloodbath civil war within the left if we lose. You're 100% correct.
And here's the other thing, Miguel. Before you get too annoying with Biden, I was really searching for a better word, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Before you get your panties in a bunch, it's because Biden is not saying I'm stepping down. Remember, Biden is going to say I'm in until he says I'm out. And this sounds like a stupid, but this is not one of those things that you go like, oh, well, I'm maybe going to be in. I don't know. No, you are I'm in, and one day you say I'm out, right? He cannot show any weakness until that moment of no return when he says I'm stepping down. Because if he wavers on that point, it will make him even weaker, right? Like, imagine how weak it will be if Biden is there, like, well, maybe considering. No, this is one of those things where, like, is this going to happen behind the scenes? Is this going to be orchestrated in a way in which he do a gracefully step down and say, I think the best way out is to have some doctor to come up with a diagnosis and say, I'm great and capable right now, but I'm not sure I'm going to be capable 2 years from now. I think it's better for me to handle the torch.
Sure.
That will be the cleanest thing, and that will hand it up to Kamala. And that's my problem, Miguel.
Yeah.
If I knew this would be going from Biden to an open convention in which everybody would be like, okay, guys, let's hack this out in 3 days. In 3 days, no dirty campaigning.
Okay.
Right? Don't go dirty campaigning that Trump is going to use to attack whoever nominee wins. And we can come out of that and pull the Band-Aid in 3 days. I'll tell you, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But the chances of that are about the chances of Biden winning.
Never tell me the chances, kid. Never tell me the chances.
So you say, no, and you got a chance in a million.
Well, that's okay. Like Han Solo said, never give me the odds, kid. We're gonna make it. Oh, here we go, man. We're gonna go to the stratosphere.
I'm telling you, one in a million, it means that we got a chance.
Yeah, so we said we got a chance.
Yes.
It's worked for me so far. But listen, man, it's been like a delightful conversation with you again, David. I'm really excited once again to have our guest, Jamie Miller, next week. Get a drumbeat of the Republican convention from the ground.
Milwaukee, from the RNC convention. This is going to be amazing.
And potentially, I don't want to tease this, but potentially David might be in the same neighborhood as us, so you might actually. We
may use this opportunity for Miguel and I to get together and do a live show with each other.
We might do it with our tops off and like really wrestle this time.
Yeah, really wrestle and well oiled and wrestle
like buttered.
Wrestle every point, like I literally physically wrestle it. All right, my man. Love you.
Love you too,
to the audience, please follow us, like us, write to us to Americans by Choice USA at gmail.com.
That's it. We've really been enjoying all the correspondence, guys. Keep blowing us up. We love it. And we'll see you next week. It's all love. It's all love. We'll see you after the convention. This is going to be exciting. Have a great week, guys.
Bye-bye, man.